How's it, everyone? Hope you are having an amazing day. Welcome to How's It Cousins, the podcast where we take a look at unique people of the world and interesting things that they do. We talk about them, we relate to them. Hopefully we can help our audience join in with us and have a great time. On this week's show, we are hype from the announcements of this past weekend, San Diego Comic-Con. This is going to be almost like a part 2 to a part 1, where last week we talked about our predictions for Comic-Con, but what came out both met and exceeded our expectations. And furthermore, we're going to expand a little on one of the more interesting inclusions to Marvel's announcements, and that's the introduction of Angelina Jolie into the MCU.
How's it, Chris? Are you talking about Angelina Jolie? Yo, I'm down to talk about Angelina Jolie. Let's do this.
Aloha, Alvin. We're talking about Angelina Jolie in the MCU, but welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm always down to talk to you. It's always fun. Let's do it.
Before we get into that, I want to remind everyone that we are broadcasting this live at twitch.tv/HowIsItNetwork. If you want to jump into our show, interact with us, and have a great time, you can check us out on our channel. If you follow us on social media, How's It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you'll know when we're going live so that you can keep up with the latest and greatest news. This episode will eventually air on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and the video will post to YouTube as well. So drop us a subscribe and thumbs up there if you are so inclined. Alvin, is there anything you want to plug before we get started?
Yes, my name is Aloha Alvin, and I'm working on a very big project I will make announcements on, alohaalvin.com.
The way I want to start this off is we're going to go a little bit backwards, because let's first talk about the Marvel announcements, because it was huge.
Yes.
And we'll start with the series first.
Okay.
The furthest out one, and this is on Disney Plus, is Hawkeye. Scheduled to release fall 2021. They say that it's going to be Jeremy Renner in it, and they're going to focus on the development of the new Hawkeye character based on a comic series. What do you think about Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series?
Well, I will say this. So there's that phrase, right? Give the people what they want. For the record, I've never run around saying Hawkeye's my favorite character, but I have definitely enjoyed him in the movies. I've also read stuff about Hawkeye that I actually enjoyed as well. Having said that, I'm a little surprised by this announcement. I don't know anyone who requested it. You know what I mean?
This is one that we did not talk about, but is one that was predicted to happen and to be announced. As far as I understand, it's going to focus on Kate Bishop as the new Hawkeye.
Okay.
And she was a character that took up the Hawkeye mantle in the comics, but that's not his daughter that he was training, as we saw in Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, see, I assumed her name was Kate. See, I may have misremembered that, but okay, cool. Huh.
Well, maybe her name was Kate, but it would be Kate Barton.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's possible that it's not.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But no, fair enough. Well, I don't know that much about, I'm going to say female Hawkeye, out of respect to the fictional character, because I think when people call her Hawkette, she slaps them. But I don't know much about her, but I have read a little bit of Young Avengers, and she seems pretty cool in it. You know, I've enjoyed it, so yeah, that could be interesting. Very often, right, I'll talk to people just randomly. I'll say stuff like, did you see the new Spider-Man? Or, you know, did you enjoy Avengers? Etc., etc. A very common response is, bruh, tell me you watch Arrow. And I'm like, no. How do you not watch Arrow? Arrow's so good. You know, and all I could think was, like, if I was a Marvel employee, I'd be like, bro, we need an Arrow show. You know, we need some kind of bow and arrow character. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be copy-paste, although that would be interesting, too, to get their take on it.
Yeah, I'm with it. I don't know where they're going to take that series, to be honest, except to maybe expand on the whole Young Avengers thing and build to Phase 5 where they bring the team back together and Clint Barton's in retirement. But who knows? It could be kind of cool to have a new Hawkeye on the main screen. I will say one thing is that throughout the Avengers series, I don't remember a single time when they referred to Clint Barton himself as Hawkeye.
Ooh. This is a small writer pet peeve of mine. So in Avengers, I believe the first one, that's where we have Selvig, the scientist, and someone, oh no, it might have been Thor. Anyway, someone asked Selvig, yo, so where's our man, you know? And then his response is, he's always above us. That's where he always goes, or something like that. You know, like, cause Hawkeye / Sniper / Bird likes to be above. And I'm like, man, that's cool. It makes perfect sense. I know a lot of video game things tell you as a sniper to go high up. And then we never see him like that ever again. So I thought it was a bit much the way they phrase it. Like he always does that. I think he was not called Clint in that paragraph of dialogue, but I don't remember. So it's possible.
You're right. That was from Thor 1, and I don't think he was called Clint, but he also was not called Hawkeye.
Ooh, see, I'm not sure. Okay. Having said that, regarding names, because this is something I actually have thought about and I also enjoyed for Kate Bishop, which is, she's not female Hawkeye, she's Hawkeye. And it's kind of cool to me because, like, I guess like Robin from DC, it's a name that can be male or female. So I kind of like that. Because there's a lot of girl version or woman version, so it's kind of cool to just straight up pass the mantle, period. I thought that was nice.
I think it'd be very cool to have the character named as Hawkeye when Clint has never had that name. So it's actually creating the quote-unquote new character, like you're saying, when one didn't actually exist previously.
It would be interesting if there was more Ronin action, because that would make the show way dark. But who knows?
From one of the things I read is that there will be Ronin flashbacks in that series.
Oh, man. Whew. Okay, then. So my question to you, because I feel like you know more than I do on this one. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well as, say, Daredevil. Yes, you know, the Avengers exist. We know that for sure. But they don't really cameo. Do you know if they have planned cameos?
They have planned cameos throughout this thing, and it has been confirmed that the series will tie into the movies.
Oh, so they are doing
on many levels, yes.
Okay.
Like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was loose ties, right? They would reference the event that happened. It would kind of be there, but it wasn't a real integration between the series and the movie. This set of Disney Plus series, they have specifically said that some of them will jump straight into the next set of movies.
You know, all I can say for that then is, one, cool, and two, I hope that I can quote unquote binge. Not that I binge anything, but I want it at my fingertips. I say that because I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. about when Winter Soldier came out. Dude, there was a huge spoiler. I don't know if you followed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
Okay.
I definitely watched around that time. If you saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before you saw Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier came into the theaters at one point, then there was a huge spoiler in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. afterwards.
I was quite angry, yes. It wasn't even one weekend, man. Like, the next Tuesday or whatever, boom, spoil. I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway. So that's kind of cool. They're making it like, and it's an official thing. Having said that, I will say this, not to be a negative Nancy or whatever, Debbie Downer. There's also the Inhumans, right? Like Inhumans, get ready guys, tying it in, here we go. So not all the plans always come to fruition, but I still like the building blocks. It sounds nice.
We'll get into that when we get to that series. The next one in the backwards chronological order is the What If series. This one is meant to be animated.
Oh!
It's going to tell the stories of, you know, what if this happened or what if that happened. There's a huge cast of the original actors coming to voice characters in the animated What If series on Disney+. How do you think that could go?
I love What If. I used to buy those comics. I remember thinking it once, like, it would be cool if we had What If stuff. Maybe, like, in a long movie, there's a one What If scenario because someone's chatting with the Watcher or something. I always wanted that. I did not expect an entire series, so that's kind of cool. I also didn't think it'd be animated, but now that I think about it, it has to be. It's just screaming cornucopia of characters all the time. In theory, every episode will have a new person. Getting all those big names into your TV show would be rough. So it does make sense. I do worry for it though. Once again, because of my friend who loves Superman, but doesn't watch animated Superman. He's anti-animated. I hope that doesn't happen here, but I am psyched. I liked What If a lot, actually.
I remember one of the first What If comics I ever read, and this is not going to be in the series, but it was What If Dark Phoenix had won?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Exactly.
Oh, that was huge. That was like oh my God, my heart, like, it was crazy.
Exactly, stuff like that. That's why I enjoy What If a lot. I think my favorite one was What If the Juggernaut killed Xavier? Because he's always trying to, right?
Yep.
And it was trippy. Like, the whole deal about the Juggernaut is he's quote-unquote unstoppable. So they played with that word. And essentially, he's immortal, wandering the earth alone. everything dies but him. And it's just like the saddest thing ever. It's funny because he then found some mutants and he's like, holy crap, you're all here. This is great. And I think it was like Iceman was doing the wall thing. Iceman's like, no, get out. You're not welcome. And Juggernaut's like, no, I'm coming in. He smashes it in. But the thing is, Juggernaut does not feel poison, or at least he doesn't get poisoned. So he didn't realize the air was already toxic. By breaking in, he doomed all of them. And once again, he's alone. I'm like, damn, that is sad. But I'm a Juggernaut fan. I thought it was a great comic.
What if it would be interesting? I like the decision to go animated because that clearly makes a break from the live action movies and the what if saga, as in this is like a soliloquy or like a play on words of how the story could have gone. Bedtime Bear in the chat. Juggernaut is my favorite character, bro.
Dude, yes.
On the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yes. Oh, I was a Juggernaut fan for so long. Oh, ridiculous.
Hell
yes. Yeah.
The next series in reverse order is Loki, coming in spring 2021, and it follows the journey of the Loki that escaped from the timeline in Avengers Endgame circa 2012, where he portals out with the Tesseract.
I will say some of these shows makes me go, dude, what are they doing with that? Who knows, right? But the Loki show in my head already sounds like fun. You know, like Loki doing Loki things. Yeah, I'm down.
That version of Loki, he didn't go through the character arcs of the Dark World and Ragnarok, so he's still on this evil take over the world type scene. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over time and what kind of things that version of Loki learns after he escapes the Battle of New York with the Tesseract.
I was never that big on Lord of the Rings, but for me, Lord of the Rings always has Legolas, which includes the Hobbit, which is wrong. Because I've been told, Legolas is not even in those books. But they put him in for the movies because fans expecting it. And I certainly expected it. For me, Loki and Thor, man, it's like peanut butter and jelly. You know, like it just goes together. I can't imagine Thor being on that show, though. So that's something that'll be weird in my head, I think.
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure that they could create some type of cameo or something for Chris Hemsworth to jump in.
It definitely would be fun.
We alluded to this earlier, but the next series that's coming out a little earlier in spring 2021 is WandaVision, which tells the story of the Scarlet Witch and Vision post-Avengers Endgame. So that suggests that there is some way to either rebuild Vision in the current timeline, or that they would branch off into a different timeline to where Vision's alive. I'm not quite sure. They didn't reveal quite yet what that's going to be like. But what are your thoughts on WandaVision? Oh, aside,
okay,
they're also including a grown-up version of Monica Rambeau, which is the young girl from Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's nice. I will say this. There's a Captain America comic that I really like, and Cap essentially gets stuck in time. So he's bouncing around from like the past to the future to the past, and he's just going crazy. And then he sees the Vision, and he's like, hey, Vision, you back up yourself, right? And Vision's like, yeah, man, every day, just in case. And then he's like, can you get me a message to someone else in the future for blah, blah, blah? I'm like, okay. So Vision helps him. But that little throwaway line never left me. You know, like, logically, why not back up Vision's personality and head all the time? So I would not be surprised if that there was either his own, like he created his own backups, or Iron Man, Tony Stark set up something, you know? There's so much power, and it's so helpful, and it's so doable. Why not? So in my head, we will get Vision memories and that whole personality back, but it'll be a new body. I think that's how it's going to be. So like even literally one day before getting smashed by Thanos, then you catch him up to speed, whatever you got to do, and then yeah, you're good to go again. For me, it's not hard. Nothing. In comic book land, it'll be easy. Hopefully.
I think so. It's explainable. The one thing is that people speculated that Shuri was able to download Vision's consciousness while experimenting with the Mind Stone on him. We'll see if that ends up turning out. I'm going to segue into one of the movies that was announced, because they said directly that the events of WandaVision will play into Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. And Scarlet Witch is supposedly going to be a major character in that movie. So this is the example that I'm saying that the series will tie directly into the movie now, as opposed to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version, where the series played and then the movie played and the series kept going and spoiled everything. It looks like the series will play first and then the movie will come out and play off the events of the series.
I have this thing about TV these days, and I guess you could say I'm spoiled by YouTube. Sometimes there's a show I want to watch, then I just can't. Stuff comes up, I can't make it, maybe I fall asleep. But you miss it and you lose out. It's very frustrating. So in that sense, I am totally down. Like, I imagine, just like how Spider-Man had a speech before his trailer, yo, everybody, spoiler coming up, be aware. You know, like, I imagine for the same scenario for the Doctor Strange thing, it'll be like, if you have not binge, go binge right now, then come back. That'd be a great warning versus, oops, ruined it for you. That is kind of nice. And you're right, like, the logic makes more sense to have the movie second. In theory, in my eyes at least, it's more likely to have people going to that. So that's kind of cool.
I think so too. I think it's a good way to kind of segue into a movie to have like a 6 to 8 episode series on a streaming service to say, hey, you can watch all of these in advance. And if you do, you'll be prepped for the movie type thing versus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was an ongoing series, which had to both live up to or prepare for and then react to the movie that happened.
I will say this. Dude, the title of that Doctor Strange movie, wow. There's no mystery there. It's multiverse. Boom. Like literally the letters for multiverse are in the title. I am surprised at how super forward that is. It's so forward that I feel like it's a red herring. I think
so too.
Yeah. It's so forward.
I'm willing to bet that if not all, then at least a bunch of these movie titles, a little, Thor sub, I think the sub will change to something else by the time we actually get the movie. Just like how they did with the Avengers movies back in their last announcement. I'm willing to bet some of these titles are not quite finalized yet.
Part of me thinks they're trying to hype it up and therefore they won't give us the real info so we get it later. But the other part of me, I'm a writer. I know how it is. Like, I could see it changing, I guess. But, man, it would be interesting to just straight up have multiverse. Part of me wonders, especially because in Spider-Man, I think in the trailer, one of the trailers, they used the word multiverse. And to put it mildly, just like, this will be the end of the Jedi. Like, you say certain words, fans will react. And when they said it in the trailer for Spider-Man, I'm like, I wonder if they're testing the waters. Because I didn't think they'd unload, but then who knows, right? I can't predict the future. So in that same sense, like, they must have had a positive reaction to that word. Now that they have, boom, put it in the Doctor Strange title, So,
probably.
Interesting, yeah.
The final series, Disney Plus series that was announced, and that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are coming in the next 2 and change years, is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the nearest one coming next year in the fall. It will chronicle the adventures of Falcon, the new Captain America, who appeared on stage with the Captain America shield, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. They also advertise the villain of this series as Helmut Zemo, aka Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
In his comic book purple costume.
Oh, geez. Wow. With the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
How do you think this is going to play out?
Here's a really awkward thing. I love Captain America. I really do. I'm not just saying that. Having said that, I love Cap and Falcon. I think they get along great. I also love Cap and Bucky. I think they get along also really well. I don't know about Falcon Bucky. I want to like it. In theory, it should have all the Alvinese ingredients, all the Alvinish things needed. But part of me wonders, will I just be sitting there going, man, where's Cap? I hope not. Because like in my head, Cap is so omnipresent with those two names that for me, it feels lacking at this point. Having said that, I'll probably love it. I'm sure it'll be real world based. I'm sure there'll be a whole lot of guns and punching and kicking. But as of right now, my head is like, I don't know about this.
I'm willing to bet that they'll treat this as a more coming of age type series to where Falcon is becoming Captain America. He is learning how to take that responsibility on, how to wield the shield and do his thing. There are rumors that Anthony Mackie has been fitted for Captain America armor already.
Sure, of course.
So I think that's probably going to get shown in that series. It has to be if you think about it, right?
Yes.
That's my guess. They're going to use the epic of a series to kind of show how the development of the Falcon turning into Captain America would go. And Bucky is more like hey, like I've been here all along for him. I know what it's like. I'm going to try help guide you if I can type deal. That's my guess.
They definitely played on this a lot in the movies, which is, yo, Buck, you've done a lot of bad things. People still want to get you. So I'm sure that hasn't ended. So that'll be interesting too. both of those characters on their own, I am actually very interested in seeing what their deal is. Together, it's so odd coupley in my head. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes, but guess what? We're still gonna fucking watch it. That's the sad part about it. Yeah.
See, now that's a fair point, and that was one of the things I was gonna ask you somewhere along the way. So Disney Plus, you're already there. They already take your money already. It's gone. Your money taken.
I think so, honestly. With all these things coming, it's pretty much take my money. Like, holy shit.
See, it's weird. I'm still hesitant, but then again, I am that guy a little bit. Okay, so here's a great example. Okay, so Scarlet Witch in the comics has a certain look, very red, the red and the pink, and then Vision looks a certain way as well. When they're together, I see them in comic book form. So anyway, there's a comic, I think it's a cover, but I think it's just satire because I never actually bought that comic. Think like Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Rogers wears that sweater. He's a very friendly looking guy, normal guy. There is a comic of Wanda and Vision and children of Wanda plus Vision, and they're all wearing like sweaters. You know, it's like a Family Matters or a Full House kind of an image. I remember looking at it and just kind of taking a pause like, whoa, what is this? Never bought it. Who knows? You know, like it could just be satire and inside is a whole lot of fighting and magical spells and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, that image is kind of stuck in my head. I worry severely for WandaVision. I have no idea where it's going. I'm assuming there's going to be kids, which sounds weird, but that definitely happened. Yeah, I am assuming there'll be kids, yes.
I don't actually. Not for the series. I think that'd be too far for Disney viewers.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
You mentioned Mr. Rogers. Did you see the trailer? Tom Hanks?
No, I was going to.
Bruh.
I gotta catch up on so many things. Is he like perfect?
It came out today and it is pretty spot on if you ask me. I like it a lot. I'm excited to at least learn more of what they're doing with that movie.
So there is a man who was a father on a show and he is currently not so good with the law. I am glad nothing like that happened with Mr. Rogers. And I was actually kind of worried that one day it would, you know, because his image is so clean. I have no idea what that movie's going to have inside of it. Like, I have no idea.
It's true. Who knows? Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
So we're going to segue. We did the shows. Now we're going to do the movies real quick and just try to run through them. Our thoughts, our initial feelings on it. And I'll start at the end again. And in late 2021, we're getting Thor, Love and Thunder, which sounds super fucking wacky.
Yes.
And they announced Taika Waititi as a director again. So we can almost expect Ragnarok vibes, which I'm down for.
Okay.
But the bomb that they dropped is Natalie Portman returns as Jane Foster, who will wield the hammer of Thor.
So they did. Okay. One, I heard about that. Two, I wasn't sure that was like a confirmed. So
confirmed.
Fascinating. Do you know the name Thora?
Thora,
yes.
No.
So for a while there, I was seeing these comic book covers of a blonde woman with Mjolnir and like Thor armor. So her name was Thor, which was odd to me. But then
Thor.
Yeah, but then some people would call her Thora. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, female Thor. And then later on, I found out because I'm like, bruh, someone just spoiled this for me already. I don't know what it is. Just spoil it. And my friends are like, oh, dude, that's Jane Foster. I'm like, what? What does that even mean? So this has happened in the comics and people seem to be pretty happy about it. One, still weird to me because I never read those comics. But two, hey, why not? You know, I think it can be fun. One of the theories I heard was she, as in Jane Foster, the character, will have a girlfriend/wife. And in this case, it'll be Valkyrie from the movies.
On stage at Comic-Con, Tessa Thompson did make the assertion that, hey, I am now the king of Asgard and I need to find my queen.
Oh,
so there are many speculations after that whether Thor, Love and Thunder will be kind of like an LGBT movie to where Valkyrie does enter that type of relationship. Now, it could be with Jane Foster. There are many on the internet that want it to be with Carol Danvers, which is also a little strange, but I don't know if they're going to go that far. I think it would be a good expression in that type of movie to actually showcase something like that. Valkyrie in the previous Thor movie did not seem too interested in Thor's kind of advances. So it would kind of make sense if she was looking for something other than big hulky Chris Hemsworth.
If they are the two main characters, that will be a refreshing change of pace because it'll be a Thor character with a Thor character. For better or worse, I feel like a lot of the movies there are no solo movies or at least they seem to be dialing that back. So I'm down for that. But I know Valkyrie is friends with Hulk, so that'd be interesting. I would dig that, like a friendship cameo thing, you know?
That would be really cool if the Hulk
Yeah.
could cameo in that movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
We talked about Doctor Strange already, so we'll skip that for a minute. The next movie in reverse order is Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, this is a very less popular Marvel character, if you ask me.
Totally.
But it does signal the return of the Mandarin, which they had confirmed after that Marvel short following Iron Man 3 to say that the Mandarin is not just some Ben Kingsley ripoff, that is actually a real villain, a real character. Have you known anything about Shang-Chi throughout comic books?
I'm going to reveal some ignorance right here up front. So, is that or is that not Iron Fist?
It is not Iron Fist.
So it is a different guy. Oh, then I have no clue who he is.
There are many comic aficionados that say that Shang-Chi trained the likes of Wolverine and other fighting style superheroes. I think Deadpool might be on there too.
Fascinating.
And maybe Iron Fist to some degree too. But he is the master of the martial arts. He is able to learn any fighting style, and that's kind of his superpower, so to say.
Okay.
So he is known to train other martial arts-based superheroes in hand-to-hand combat.
So real quick, because you kind of touch on this, not directly. I want more Taskmaster everywhere all the time. I love his premise. He make him a villain, make him a hero. I don't care. I want more Taskmaster. Do you know Taskmaster's whole deal and stuff?
I do, and you know what? We're just gonna jump right into that because
okay.
the other movie that they announced, I'm skipping one, but the closest movie that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con this year was the Black Widow movie.
Yes.
To where Taskmaster is
No.
confirmed to be the villain.
Holy crap. Dude, I love Black Widow. I love Taskmaster. That's almost comical to me. That's funny. Wow. I did not know that. Wow. Okay.
They
Wow.
didn't specifically say that it's going to be a prequel. More than likely it will be, but there are a lot of speculations that some of the other, we'll say, Russian, quote-unquote, ballerina initiates into that cult, as we'll call it. One of them may take over the Black Widow mantle going forward. There's a lot of speculation about that. However, like I said, there is an all-star studded cast. Taskmaster, through concept art, has been pretty much confirmed as the main villain of that movie. I'm very interested to see how that they work that in.
You could not make that a more Alvin movie. Like, that's screaming my name. Just take my money. I'll pay triple price. Let's go already. Hurry up. I will say this. So there's a Deadpool comic where he's doing something. I forgot what he's doing. And then, boom, Taskmaster's there. And Deadpool's like, dude, what the hell? What are you doing here? And then Taskmaster's like, oh, I'm training these guys. They hired me to train their goons. And they're like, so now we have to fight, right? Yeah. So the background of Taskmaster, for the most part, is money, mercenary kind of point of view. I could see him being anywhere on Earth, actually. If someone was paying the right price, I could see him there. He's a villain. He likes money.
And I am totally down with the Taskmaster gossip then. I am excited to see that. For you, May 1st, 2020, just mark that on your calendar. You have to go see that movie.
Oh, dude. Nice.
And we're going to jump into the final announced movie of San Diego Comic-Con 2019. But first, I want to let you guys know that today's episode of the podcast is being brought to you in part by Team Me Brand. They're a lifestyle brand based out of Hawaii, where we are both from, that do streetwear, artwork, and culture showpieces, like their most recent interview series with local hip-hop artists, not only in Hawaii, but across the United States. These hashtag United individuals are building out their custom merch brand, and they would love to have you share in their designs. I will remind you that all designs are run on a limited basis. Full disclosure, I am not affiliated with this company. However, I have done some work for them in the past, but they like to ensure that I look stylish on stream at all times. So if you like the hat that I'm wearing, the shirt that I'm wearing on stream, if you're watching the video version, make sure that you follow Team Me Brand on all the popular social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is TEAMMEBRAND. All one word, on all your favorite social media platforms. And make sure you hit up their hashtag Keep Moving Forward. So now, The highlight of the show, now that we are pretty much halfway through,
Okay.
is the announcement of The Eternals. Slated to release in November 6, 2020, The Eternals is a huge movie that Marvel Phase 4 will be showcasing. And they have a huge all-star studded cast, including Richard Madden, Lauren Ridloff, Leah McHugh, Kumail Nanjiani, who was in that recent Dave Bautista movie, the one about Stuber.
Oh, cool.
Selma Hayek,
Oh, wow.
who is also playing one of the Eternals, and none other than Angelina Jolie.
Boom. Yes.
So for many of these people, it is their first introduction into the MCU, and I think Angelina Jolie is a almost latecomer to this game, to where there are already star-studded actors involved in these movies, but she is entering into a very, to me, strange franchise. She is slated to play Thena, who is born named Azura, fictional character based on Athena of Greek mythology. I'm not really sure how this is gonna go, to be honest. I'm not familiar with the Eternals. Alvin, what do you know about the Eternals?
One, if I don't know for sure if I even have the right group of people. Two, if they are who I think they are, then, okay, so Thanos is not like a being on his own. Thanos is part of a race. And in the entire race, there's other people. Just like Superman is not the only Kryptonian, there's more than one. To my knowledge, these are the fellow Kryptonians. I know pretty much nothing about them. If I remember correctly, they're essentially Superman power level people wandering around. I want to say they all died off, and I forgot why. So my only assumption going into this movie is that everyone dies. And those that make it through will be like a very big deal. Just like how Zod is a big deal. Everyone on Krypton pretty much died. Oh, and the other thing was, again, if I'm thinking of the right race, because I'm still not sure if I am, Thanos, purple face, let's say peculiar chin, that's a very unique look to him. Having said that, if I remember correctly, his race doesn't look like that. So Thanos was a freak, quote unquote, from birth, and he was not treated very well. I think that's part of his, I'll just say his need to kill things. I think that was part of it. But I'm still not even sure that the Eternals are the Thanos race. I just know that they're pretty amazing. That's all.
Based on the Wikipedia article, the Eternals are a spawn of the Celestials. Celestials came first.
Yes.
The Watcher is an example. In MCU lore, Ego is an example. However, I've heard that this might be challenged in the more recent movie, The Eternals. There are the Uranos and the Titan. So the Titan are, as I understand, a spin-off of the Eternals.
Oh, okay.
And Thanos is what's called a Titan.
Oh, okay. Oh, when you say spin-off, do you mean pets?
I'm trying to read more. It might be like children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren type thing.
Okay.
But I need to do a little more research into know the exact lineage of that. But yes, Thanos is spawned off the same line.
Okay.
But he's not quite an Eternal.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on that movie in general. So let's say they made a new Iron Man, like right now, just a new Iron Man. Like, oh, okay, surprise, I didn't expect that. Then he has like water-based powers or something. Makes no sense. As a fan of Iron Man, I think it's dumb, and I'm super angry that you decided to change his powers. How dare you change the IP that I know and love so well? Now, in this case, Eternals, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I kind of know nothing. Whatever you throw at me, as long as I'm having fun, take it. I don't care. So I think that's part of the equation, because so I know comics well enough, not that well, but well enough. I know maybe like, I don't know, I'll say 5 guys who know comics better than I do, aka they know them very well. Maybe we might have a conversation about Eternals at some point, maybe. And that's it. Like, no one else I know. If you were to show Superman to a grandma randomly in the United States or maybe on Earth, she'd be like, hey, Superman. You know, like, that's how big he is. Eternals, I don't even know what that is. If you told me you were going to go watch something called The Eternals, I'd be like, oh, is that a new show on, WB or Family or whatever? Like, I know nothing. So that, in a way, is a good thing. The other point I was going to make, from the moment I heard Angelina Jolie's name, dude, I'm fine with it already. I trust her judgment / her agent's judgment. I think it'd be good. Whatever it is. I'm going to assume not comedy.
So that's a kind of interesting point of reference because so far in the Marvel Galaxy or the outer space genre, it has been mostly comedy, if you think about it.
True.
Both Guardians of the Galaxy movies have been kind of satire. Thor Ragnarok, totally satire. But with the cast that they announced for the Eternals, which I read earlier, I don't know that you would do that much satire. I mean, of this group, Kumail Nanjiani, I think he's going to be pretty funny, but everyone else, I'm not sure as to the ability to deliver comedy.
Agreed. I mean, one, we could be surprised, but two, totally agree. I feel the same way.
Now, talking about the introduction of new characters, I know that Salma Hayek's character is playing Ajak, as they have announced, which was originally in the comics a male character, but they're going to gender bend to female in the movie.
That name sounds familiar. I might be confusing it, but okay, cool.
Let me ask you a question. Were you familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie came out? Did you know anything about them?
Okay, so one, I knew very, very little about them, but I have heard of them. Two, I confused Drax for someone else. There's another green skin guy who's very strong, and that's not a Hulk joke. There's actually some other guy. I didn't know Groot, but I did know Rocket. I saw Rocket in random things. So yeah, that's all.
Like Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
No, before that. But good point. See, no, really, right? I mean, well, that was the joke. It was like there was a Marvel and a Capcom meeting, and they're like, hey, you know who we think we should have in this? And then someone's like, characters from the movies. Boom, we're done with this meeting. Like, oh, damn. But, I mean, logically, it makes perfect sense. It's a vehicle for them to push their other products. I didn't know Rocket that well, though. But yeah, I did hear of Rocket before, and I've seen him. Like, he stands out, to put it mildly. But overall, nothing. And it's funny because there's that moment where Star-Lord in the beginning of the movie, he's like, yeah, I'm a badass. I'm stealing this. Who are you? I'm Star-Lord. And the other guy's like, who? He's like, come on, man. Don't you know me? And I just sat there in the theater like, dude, I have no clue, bro. Like, none. I didn't know Star-Lord prior either. Yeah, so.
That's the whole point, though, I think, of this movie, in that we know almost nothing about these characters. Even some of the more hardcore comic book fans, I imagine, would not know too much about these characters. But that does give Marvel Studios the creativity and the freedom to play with them and do something different with it. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the most close comparison to what they could do, in that they could introduce a cool set of heroes that could do their cool shit things, and hopefully you can relate to them too. I find it very interesting that in this group, they chose quote unquote A-list actors like Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, people that have history in acting, to bring out some of their characters. Almost like they played Sylvester Stallone in Guardians 2. Because I'm willing to bet that the way that they featured them at Comic-Con means that they will play a much larger role than Stallone played in Guardians 2.
That actually brings up a point that I don't know, so hopefully you know. So one, Angelina Jolie's in it, duh. Two, is she the main character? I just assumed.
I have no idea.
Okay, so because I don't know either, yeah.
I'm willing to bet no.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. If you were to tell me Anthony Hopkins is in something, I would assume he's going to be huge because he's a huge name. But then, yeah, like Odin obviously was in the movies, but he wasn't like the main character. It was Thor. So, interesting. See, like, that's how lost I am. I can't even tell you who the main character is. Like, if you told me, oh, dude, there's a new movie, there's Spider-Man, and then there's like Carnage in it. Dude, of course Spider-Man's the main character, right? Like, I don't have that point of view for this. I don't know.
On the Wikipedia page, Angelina Jolie is listed as the first character.
Okay.
As Thena. Salma Hayek is listed a few numbers down as Ajak, leader of the Eternals. I'm willing to bet her role is not as big. I mean, it could be to where Angelina Jolie is one of the main characters, and that would be crazy if you think about it.
Dude, yes.
Think about this. What if they are trying to build a new franchise character around Angelina Jolie, just like how they did Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man? What if?
Fascinating. For me, that's gonna take my money. I've seen enough stuff with her that I'm like, yeah, I trust you. Let's do it. I didn't argue with someone over this, but we had to have a discussion over this. So prior to Iron Man 1, Iron Man was just a comic book character. It was never in the movies. You knew who he was, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so did I. Yeah. So like the impression the other guy was trying to put on me was nobody knew him only because of the movies. I'm like, dude, it was Iron Man. Like if you read Avengers, you knew him. You know, if you read Marvel stuff, he was around. He's a big name. Tony Stark is a big name. I don't know. I thank you for responding with the dude. Yes, of course I did. So okay. So here's a great example. You make a character named Black Widow. You give her blonde hair. Something's wrong. You know, okay, like unless she's doing undercover stuff, there is no scenario in my mind where her hair should not be red. That's just part of her character. Make it red, you know, every time. Thena, I have no clue. Tall lady, short lady, who knows? She likes to wear diamonds. I have no idea. So that'll be way out there. Like Iron Man, in my mind, you better be flying and you better be shooting lasers. That's very much so what Iron Man is in my head. But yeah, zero frame of reference. So it will be interesting.
This is just my speculation is all. You are right in that Iron Man, although he's not as big or was not before as big as Spider-Man or Wolverine or even Captain America at that time, you knew who he was anecdotally just because of other stories and other situations. He was still a character that you could recognize and understand what his deal was. Thena, no clue whatsoever.
Yep.
But then again, Star-Lord, also no clue whatsoever. I'm not saying he's as big as Tony Stark was. He's not. But still rose pretty high amongst the recognizable character ranks after Guardians 1. So all I'm saying is that I wonder if with this cast that they're showing, they could be building on something to a new thing. Angelina Jolie, amongst all these other characters, has the ability to be a franchise carrier, I think, my opinion.
I believe so.
I don't know that the Eternals will have the weight of the Avengers just because they don't have the notoriety that the Avengers do. However, if they are able to weave the character development and the story well enough, I could see to where they could at least spin off 2, maybe 3 movies of it to where she could carry those movies.
Well, either she's going to be much weaker than we think, and I doubt it because I think she's going to be very strong, or she's going to have what I'm just going to call the Captain Marvel problem. So Captain Marvel, super badass. Avengers Endgame, it's on, man. Everybody get to fighting. Let's go. Captain Marvel shows up for like 3 seconds total. It's unfortunate, but it kind of has to be that way because if Captain Marvel's out there kicking ass, everyone's just twiddling their thumbs. Once again, because I don't know diddly about Thena, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because she can't be Thanos level. If there's 10 Thanos level people wandering around, people that are not that powerful, dude, just sit in the back. Please, don't die out there. It's not worth it. You know, let the Thor and the Captain Marvel guys fight it out. We'll see how that plays too. Because Iron Man is interesting. On one hand, lift a car, throw a car, punch a hole through a brick wall, no problem. But also susceptible to a bullet in the face. That's not a problem, I think, for Thor. And I don't think that's a problem for Captain Marvel either. To my knowledge, the Eternals for the most part are like Kryptonians. They will be really, really powerful.
Do you think, based on her past work, that Angelina Jolie could be a verifiable superhero? Now, we've seen things like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We've seen Tomb Raider. Do you think that she has that in her chops to do that type of work?
So a long time ago, if you ask someone to be in a movie, and then they'll be like, yeah, man, I'm down to play the main character, then you tell them they're going to be a masked fighter the whole time. A lot of times they would say no. You know, or the agent would say no. I want my actor or actress to have his or her face on the movie poster, not a covered up image that makes no sense, blah, blah, blah. I believe there was a time in the past where if you asked someone of her caliber, do you want to be in this movie? The answer probably would have been no. You know, it's not my thing. I'm a pass. But at this point, even if you hated Endgame, which I don't know anyone that does, which actually is kind of surprising. But
Who
even
the
if
fuck would hate Endgame? Seriously.
Exactly, right? Like, I don't even know. But if you did, even if you did, you still got to give it props. It is ridiculous. It was a phenomenon, straight up. I don't think any genre of any kind has done that kind of crossover over like a decade plus. That's insane. If I was her agent, if she said no, I'd still be like, you need to be in on this. Whatever it comes up, you know, we'll take it. And it's like, it's quite a statement. The juggernaut or the locomotive is going so well. Other people are like, yeah, just put me in, coach. I'm in.
I think that she would be a very interesting choice of actress to carry on from now into a new series or franchise because it's been a while to me that she's had a big series of movies to continue to come back to.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
looking at her IMDb via Wikipedia, and she did Kung Fu Panda as
Oh yeah,
Master
that's right.
Tigress a bunch of times,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
that's a repeat. Maleficent is another one, and that there's another one coming out this year. I'm actually kind of excited to see it, to be honest.
Yeah, totally, totally.
But other than that, that's been kind of it. She's done one-off things in like Salt or like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, as we saw before. But other than that, it's been kind of a one-off role for her, right? Tomb Raider had what, two? One or two?
It might have been up to 3, but definitely at least 2. 2, maybe
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to Robert Downey Jr., right? He was in the mid to latter of his career when he got cast as Iron Man, and that just like went all the way to the fucking bank, right?
Yes.
Who knows what they could do with any other actor, actress of those type of chops and what they can shape that to be. I've been very impressed with Marvel's casting to this point over the last decade.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this is another great casting choice for them.
I totally agree.
We're going to go through a couple of quick takes also from the other points of SDCC, and we'll see your reaction to that.
Okay.
One of the first announcements they had was Tom Cruise coming back in Top Gun Maverick. Your thoughts on Top Gun? Have you seen the first one? Are you into the series? Did you see the trailer?
So, trailer, yes. And when I saw the movie, I have to assume, I saw it in the old days, I have to assume, but I remembered nothing. I did see the movie like within the past 5 years. So for me, it's pretty fresh. It's a weird thing. The trailer, I believe, fully understands what the audience wants. So when a movie is really old, but like a beloved classic, they'll play it in theaters sometimes. So I went to one of those things, and it was Top Gun. How well do you know it?
Decently well, yeah. I've seen it a
Okay.
number of times over the years. I've seen it within the last 5 years type thing.
Okay,
Top
cool.
Gun's pretty awesome for its time. I think it holds up decently well, to be honest. There's some things where I question how they're going to play it out, but in general, I'm excited for it. I will probably see it just because of the nostalgia factor, but I'm curious how they play this out.
For me, it's the opposite. There is like zero nostalgia. Having said that, I have freaking loved the recent Mission Impossible movies, like ridiculously love them. And I've enjoyed Tom Cruise and other stuff as well. I really enjoyed Oblivion, although I don't think anyone else has. But anyway, so I am, you know what, for the most part, a fan of Tom Cruise. So this movie coming, yeah, I'm down. There won't be Goose, right? So it'll be at least a little different, but I feel like they're getting it. And the reason why I was checking if you saw it was, so in the theater, like, I don't know any of this, okay? So there's that part where he's macking on the girl. Girl's like, no, I'm not interested. Oh, that sucks, right? Whatever. And then, surprise, it's his teacher. And I was like, whoa, but everyone else already knew that. So there's another moment where only I really reacted like a newcomer. And that was apparently the beach volleyball scene. That's a thing. Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's a thing.
Dude, it's totally a thing. I didn't know that. Like once again, my lack of knowledge for some things, but my knowledge of Family Guy, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they did a parody of this because a lot of these things seem familiar in my head. But yeah, everyone in the theater just screaming, so I'm just making noise. It's just fun. But I swear there's like a brief moment of dudes playing beach volleyball in the trailer. I'm like, you guys, you know what you're doing. I feel like they're fully aware of what the fans want. So for me, I think it'll be great. I mean, for better or worse, my bar is already up. I think they'll do very well, though. Very well.
I think so too. I have a hard time believing that they'll flop on this movie. I think there's very little they can do to fuck this up.
True.
I think that it's going to give you everything you want, more action, more Maverick, more everything. I think they know, like you said, what the fans desire from a movie like this, and I think they're just going to give it to you in spades.
Yes. Great way to be.
Another trailer that dropped was Terminator Dark Fate is going to bring back Edward Furlong as John Connor. That was the young kid in Terminator 2 as John Connor. He's going to be older John Connor now. And we'll see how that plays out. I know we talked about Terminator Dark Fate last week, but your thoughts on how this is gonna turn out as a sequel to Terminator 2, but eschewing all the things that happen in Terminator 3 and beyond.
So I have not seen that trailer yet, which I'm kind of surprised I haven't been pelted by it. But I have been to the theaters, so I've seen the poster and I'm like, there's another Hamilton. You know, I'm ready already. I love Terminator 2 so much, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's a point in my life where it's my favorite movie, you know, so I can't wait for it. Now, knowing that John Connor is alive and part of it, dude, oh, jonesing for it. That sounds really good, actually. We're just assuming Arnold's in it, right? Or at least, or did they just confirm?
Arnold's in it.
Okay.
Arnold himself.
I haven't
that he's
seen
in it.
Okay. Good. That's good. Good news. Yeah.
I think that movie comes out this year, in fact. So let's look forward to it. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I did not know that. Totally down though. That's cool.
To kind of top it off, the end of the Marvel panel talked about, as I had predicted last week, the intro of the Fantastic Four, mutants into the MCU, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, and Guardians 3. They didn't go into any detail whatsoever, except that in a post-conference interview, Kevin Feige did reveal that Deadpool is part of his mutant speech. So all those things are coming. We expect them to be in Phase 5. Your thoughts on any of those subjects that are coming soon after the set of movies that we talked about earlier?
See, I was just about to confirm. So we know for sure Black Panther 2 is pretty far away then.
2023 at least, I think.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. That made stupid money, so I assume they're going to be a little quicker on it. Surprised by that, actually. Clearly, there's a lot
Maybe
of focus.
2022.
Okay. That's still a good distance.
The timeline they put out shows Thor Love and Thunder being end of 2021, and then after that there's nothing.
Yeah.
All of those ones I listed could possibly be in 22 or 23.
For me, it's printing money already. Like, I can't imagine it not making a crap ton of money. So I'm down for that. Plus, the first one was handled very well. I enjoyed it a lot. Having said that, I like Fantastic Four. I want them to do well. But Reed just comes across weird on screen. I hope that comes good, man. Oh, I'm nervous already.
We had talked about it last week. I thought I saw a thumbnail on the internet to where John Krasinski from The Office was photoshopped into a Reed Richards type suit and thing. I don't know if that was foreshadowed anywhere. I just saw a image on the internet. I think it was a YouTube thumbnail thing, and I think that'd be pretty cool if that was the case.
To clarify, I think the blue jumpsuit can look pretty cool on a dude and looks very good on some women. My concern is the use of Reed Richards' powers. That makes me nervous. You know, he's all gangly and stuff because that's what he does. He stretches out. I hope it comes across well. That's all. It's so easy to be campy. Do we know anything about the mutants? I'm assuming it was just, we said the word mutants, now commence losing your mind.
Kevin Feige said the word mutants, but a couple of things that I've watched since have talked about the Eternals movie and how the Eternals, as the semi-gods that they are, experimented with different genes and different types of evolution. And they were actually the source of the X gene, aka mutants. They were the source of the Inhumans. They were the source of all the different anomalies of the superpowered races. So there is speculation that some of that may come out during the Eternals to hint at what's coming in the next phase.
I don't expect it. Well, obviously Phase 4 has already been announced, so I'm not really expecting anything. But Avengers versus X-Men, man. Still, just one day, hopefully.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
one day.
totally with you.
One day.
I'm going to end my topic segue of this show on the Marvel panel topic segue of the show. And I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but the final thing that they announced was a surprise appearance by Mahershala Ali, two-time Oscar winner, who they confirmed is going to reboot Blade.
Oh!
In Phase 5, most likely.
So I saw this thing. It's like a YouTube documentary, homemade style. Anyway, the guy was saying every single superhero movie that's doing well right now needs to, like, give a fruit basket to Blade. And I remember thinking, I don't know if this guy is pushing the argument a little too strong. But in retrospect, like at the time, one, when I saw Blade, I loved it. I just enjoyed it a ton. Two, I don't think I was aware that it was a Marvel movie. And three, you know what? It was kind of like the precursor. Clearly, it wasn't Iron Man. There was no Avengers Initiative or anything like that. But it was a Marvel movie, a dude with powers, and it was a great movie. It was just enjoyable, period. I know many people that like it that I don't think even watch superhero movies. Like, I don't think they even know. Having said that, I believe there was an interview or something where someone said, yeah, Wesley Snipes, if they make a Blade movie, who do you think can be Blade? And his response was, I am the only one that can play Blade, or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I can see that too. I'd be down for him to be back. He could have a protege or whatever. Totally down. He could be the Wheeler, I guess. In the Marvel Universe, there's a Savage Land, aka a place with dinosaurs. I know that in theory, Cyclops could hop on a plane and land next to a T-Rex, but in my head, they're totally separate. And in that same sense, Blade is like a totally separate thing for me. But man, I love it. I think current Jubilee from X-Men Little Buddy, Wolverine Little Buddy Jubilee, I think she's a vampire. I have not been following. Someone told me that. I don't think they were messing with me.
What?
Yeah. Thank you for that appropriate response. Because I was like, what? They're like, no, dude, really, she's a vampire. Okay, sure.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, see? To me, it's so divorced, but the reality is they are all in the same place.
So like you, when I saw Blade for the first time in the 90s, I had no clue that it was a Marvel comic at all, because it didn't associate with the other Marvel comics I had read previously. I didn't have a Blade trading card like I had for Spider-Man and Cyclops and everybody else. He wasn't in the X-Men video games or anything else that I associated with Marvel. But upon finding out, I think that it would be super fucking cool if somehow they tied Blade into the rest of the MCU. Somehow. I don't know how, but that would be super cool. If you want my opinion, Mahershala Ali is the perfect Blade candidate.
For the record, I have to look it up. I just have to. But okay.
You do need to.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so see, I misunderstood what you're saying. I thought you're saying they announced the director was standing on stage and people lost their minds because they made the announcement. But you're saying the man who will play Blade was standing on stage.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's won a number of Academy Awards. He's super fucking famous. He's been in a number of series. Did you watch Luke Cage?
I think I'm looking at the right face, and yes, there's the bad guy.
Yeah, he was the bad guy in Luke Cage.
Oh, fascinating. I don't know his fighting ability or fighting style or anything. So
doesn't matter.
Okay, interesting. Hey man, yeah, do it. I'm down, totally down.
I really loved him in House of Cards. And the way he plays those characters are so fucking good. I think he'd make a great Blade. Just like how Wesley Snipes was a perfect casting for Blade.
For me, first place, I'm pretty sure for the rest of my life, because no one else is ever going to beat this, is that one guy playing J. Jonah Jameson. Like, he is the best. Yeah, like,
yes.
Okay. So, I never thought about it, but Wesley Snipes' Blade, that's way up the list. That might be second place. Yeah,
huge.
I never thought about it, but you're right. It works. It just works. So this is a weird mixed feeling for me, okay? On one hand, hey, I know the cool stuff. On the other hand, how long do I have to wait? Bruh, that's just cruel, man.
Number of years, but fuck whatever.
Exactly, right? It's still cool. That's fun. Interesting.
All right, so I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this week's episode where we got to discuss our thoughts and reactions to the crazy announcements that came from San Diego Comic-Con 2019 this year, mostly focused on the Marvel Hall H panel press conference, but also touching on a few other things, especially the inclusion of Angelina Jolie and characters like Selma Hayek into the MCU at this point in the Eternals. I want to remind y'all that we are recording this live at twitch.tv/Housing Network. So if you want to jump into our chat, react with us, hang out with us, you can do so at any time and have a great time with us. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so you know whenever we're going live. you can stay up to date on all the latest and greatest news from us. This episode will go live on YouTube. Give us a subscribe and thumbs up if you like what we're saying. And all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, all the like. HowIsItNetwork.com is the collection of everything I'm describing, so check that out if you like what we're talking about.
And if you like that Alvin goodness, I am working on a very big project. I'll make an announcement on alohalv.com. I write the way I speak, so if you enjoyed me today, I'm sure you'll enjoy the site.
We want to thank you for joining us and lending us your beautiful ears. And just remember, it is not goodbye. We shall see you later.